What's up, everybody? Shot of sports right here. We got DC. We got Billy. How's y'all weekend?
So what's up? What's up? Everything was good. Interesting. Very interesting. I say
It was a
that.
great, yeah, it was a great weekend. The Phillies going to the World Series, baby. Let's go.
Whatever.
I told
Whatever.
you boys it was
Whatever, bro.
happening.
Whatever. No what y'all finna lose anyway.
Oh my, we weren't supposed to make the playoffs. We weren't supposed to beat the Cardinals. We weren't supposed to beat the Braves or the Padres. So you know
It's
what?
cool.
I'm happy that we're still an underdog because clearly this is an underdog story, and this is like it feels like the season's made out of a movie. It doesn't even make sense on why we're here. But
It's
I'm happy.
it's all right.
I'm
Y'all
happy
y'all finna get
nevertheless.
swept. Y'all finna get swept. I ain't worrying about it.
I I got an
Um,
interesting stat for you when we start talking about baseball real quick. I got something for you.
well, that's the first topic. Well, as you know, as we see down at the bottom that y'all seen today at the screen, we're gonna have the World Series is set. Phillies versus Astros. Yesterday, Phillies won 4-3. Bryce Harper coming in clutch in the bottom of the eighth, 2-run blast. NLCS MVP right there, and took them and told everybody in Philadelphia, and he's living on that promise that he was going to try to get them a ring. So it's still a good possibility. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but they looking good right now. They in the World Series. They made it. Congrats to them Philadelphia Phillies. And we got the Astros sweeping them Yankees 6-5. Astros. That game was crazy. You got
Yeah.
Jeremy Pena hitting a 3-run blast in the third to tie the game, and they just didn't look back then. They just didn't look back. Astros going into fourth out of 6 years, consecutive years, 4 out of 6. The past 4 years, Astros are in the World Series. So we got Astros, Phillies, and Houston. We will get the time soon, but you already know it's most likely going to be Verlander versus Wheeler. That's the projected and probables matchup. Go ahead. We're going to start with baseball. Go ahead, Billy. I know you're excited, and I know you thirsty and geeking to get to talk about them doggone Phillies, so you can go ahead and start it.
Well, listen, I just got to say, Bryce Harper is a different type of dog. That man is unbelievable. Reese Hoskins showed up when it mattered. Before this series, I think a lot of people in Philly were kind of like skeptical on Reese Hoskins, but after hitting 4 home runs in 5 games, the way he showed out in games 4 and 5, I think all Phillies fans are forgiven the amount of errors that he's made in the field. But I got a big stat for you. There's only been 2 teams in Major League Baseball history to sweep the divisional series and the championship series. It was the 2007 Colorado Rockies, and they got swept by the Boston Red Sox in the World Series. And then the 2014 Kansas City Royals did the same thing, and they lost in the World Series to the San Francisco Giants. So I get it. Houston's looked very good. They're 7-0. There's a reason that they're here. But to me, I still think they're very beatable. Also, in 6 out of their only 1 out of their 7 wins, only 1 out of their 7 wins have been more than 2 runs. They've been winning a lot of close games. They needed walk-off home runs from Yordan Alvarez against Seattle. So to me, I believe the Phillies can match up very well with Houston right now, especially with the fact that Phillies look red hot at the plate. They're hitting the home run ball better than almost every other team right now. They have 2 separate guys with 5 home runs, and you know Schwarber's going to get his. You know JT's going to get his. And it's not like our pitching's been bad. Our bullpen's come up huge in this series and throughout the entire playoffs. But the Houston Astros pitching is a different animal. Believe it or not, Verlander's got the worst ERA on that team right now, and it says a lot. That just tells you how good that team is. But I believe if Philly goes to Houston and wins 1 of 2 games in the first 2 games, I think the Phillies win that series in 6. I don't think it goes to 7. But if it goes Astros win both games in Houston, it's going to be very tough for Philly to win it. That's how I feel.
Go ahead, Meech.
It's an interesting one, bro. All I gotta say, Philly's gonna get swept. The stat line is gonna be crazy. Especially, I think it is definitely gonna be a pitching battle. I say for the most part, it's definitely gonna be a pitching battle. It's just basically who's gonna put the points up first, who's gonna get everything rocking and rolling. So it's like, hey, all I gotta say is you better with these two pitches coming up. If you see something in the zone, you better swing at it because if you wait, you might as well just wait for strikeout 3 and just go ahead and start walking back to the dugout. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting, but I think Phillies might actually. I know I'm saying this, but they might take it, even though I say they probably won't. But I think it probably is the Phillies' year. Probably is. So we'll see. But I'll say that even if they do take it, you still can't count them out. I wouldn't be surprised if they go game after game, winning one back and forth until Game 7. Wouldn't be surprised to see a Game 7.
Oh yeah. I'm pulling for the Stros, Millersville alum, Chas McCormick stepping up. He's in the World Series now. I play baseball here, obviously. So you obviously know I want that ring coming back to Millersville. But it's just that the Stros, man, I mean, it's just something about with lightning in a bottle right now with Dusty Baker. He couldn't get it done last year. He lost to an NL underdog. They took him for granted. I just don't see that happening back-to-back years. The way that they're playing right now, the way Jeremy Pena is swinging the baseball back, the way he is playing defense right now, and Verlander still is Cy Young. So I guarantee you will not see another outing like that from Verlander at all, like he had against the Yankees.
No, he was good against the Yankees. He had a bad game against Seattle. That's what it was. Seattle, he gave up like 8 runs or something like that. He gave up a bunch of runs against Seattle.
Yeah, but he still wasn't himself against the Yankees, though. He still wasn't himself against the Yankees. I mean, he did do well and went like 5-6 innings, something like that. But he
11 strikeouts.
He still. But that whole series, he only pitched once in that series, so that's big for the Houston Astros. So what's crucial for the Astros is they barely really used their bullpen against the Yankees. So it's going to come down to bullpens and who's fresh. Given that the Astros are having more extended time that they swept the Yankees in less games and how much rest they've had over this postseason, goes to it shows up a lot in the postseason in the World Series. Philly's been dogging it out for the past 2 series and caught lightning in the bottle with the Padres. So it's going to be interesting for sure. I'm not saying that the Phillies are getting swept at all. I'm just on the fact that the Astros are going to win both their games at home. They're going to take care of business at home. And they'll squeak one out in Philly. I don't think they'll win 2 unless they surprise me or something. I just don't think they'll win 2 in Philly. But they're going to win both them home games, and I think they are able to salvage and sweep one out in Philly to get it back to Houston for Game 6 and win it in Astros in Game 6. That's how I see that.
So we're all on the same page, though. Like, if Philadelphia goes to Houston in one of the first 2 games and wins, it's a completely different series. We're talking Phillies are probably going to win it.
100%. If Philly goes to Houston and takes a game, it's a whole different series. It's a very different
because I'm on the same page as you. I don't think that Houston's going to Philly and winning 2. And right now, Philadelphia, it doesn't look like you could win there at all because it's just the crowd is just rocking. I mean, it is. I live about a 30-minute walk from the stadium, and when I'm from home, and somebody took a video of when I think it was when Schwarber hit a home run, or no, when Hoskins hit the home run in Game 4. I don't think I've ever heard anything that loud in my life. And that was 30 minutes away from the stadium. I couldn't even imagine how loud it was there. You know what I mean? Like it is completely different. I know Houston's got a wild crowd. And I know when we played Atlanta, they got a good crowd. And the Yankees got a good crowd. But Phillies baseball, it is different. I can't explain it, but it is just different. They are 5-0 at home in the playoffs. We are. We are nuts.
Yeah,
I mean, they had to grease the polls for us to win the NLDS. They had to grease the polls again because we won the NLCS. I mean, Broad Street was going nuts. But to me, it's going to be difficult for you to win in Philly. I also think this, and this really hurts the Phillies, is that the Phillies really only have 3 starters, if you really think about it. I mean, in all their series, it's been Wheeler, Nola, Ranger Suarez has come up huge, and then they kind of just throw in a bullpen pitcher. It's either they throw in Noah Syndergaard or Bailey Falter, who couldn't even last an inning. And then you go with the Astros, and they got Verlander. They got Valdez. They got Lance McCullers. They got Christian Javier. I mean, they got a lot, and their bullpen is very good, like you said. And they haven't been tested too much. But again, I don't think that the Astros have faced a lineup quite like the Phillies, especially quite how hot the Phillies are. And also one more thing, the only time that these two teams have played with both starters in, both teams having their starters in, the Phillies won 3-0. I'm not saying that that's how the series is going to go. I'm not saying they're going to dominate. But the Phillies played that. Aaron Nola pitched very well against that Astros lineup, and the Phillies were able to hit off of them and make it count when they needed it to. So that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, 100%. The reason I'm going Stros, obviously, Chas McCormick, Millersville alum, baseball program, and the same as that I need Dusty Baker to get one. I think you can say there's a fair amount of people who don't want that, who's not mad that the Astros would win because of Dusty Baker, but there's also quite a few people that's like, oh, it's the Astros, they need to lose, or they cheated, or suck. They go cry about it.
People hate Jose Altuve still. They'll never forgive Jose Altuve for that.
So they'll never go cry about it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm like, go cry about it. and he's still standing. So go cry about it. But at the same time, I think I need Dusty Baker to get one. In any other series, I'd be like, okay, I'm definitely rolling with Phillies. But in the Astros, I'm going to put all my cards with the Astros and give Dusty Baker his first ring. I mean, it's just something about destiny with like greatness and things like that. And it'll be Bryce Harper's first ring, so that would be crazy. But at the same time, it's just something about it's time. Being in the league for so long, managing for so long, and you finally getting to the doorstep last year, not coming through, and now you get back there this year. I think it's something about destiny, and I believe that Dusty Baker gets his first ring. So, like we said, Astros, Phillies, Houston. We don't have a time yet, but it will be in Houston starting on Friday. So everybody be prepared. We're going to give you a little snippets of what we hear for this week. And, Stros in 6. That's what I got. We're going to go down to D.C. and get to NBA. Go ahead, D.C.
All right. So, NBA, I'm kind of surprised. There wasn't as many games played yesterday that it has been, usually in a day. That was probably because yesterday was Sunday also. So, I would say that games that were played actually was not bad games and fairly close games. So yesterday games we had the Suns taking one over the Clippers. We have the Hornets over the Hawks, which is a surprising game. This is a good game. Cavaliers, I'll talk about them in a second. One over the Wizards, which is kind of surprising. Then you got Jazz literally by 1 point over the Pelicans. You got Timberwolves looking like the Timberwolves, and you got Warriors winning by 5 over the Kings in a tough fought battle. I say the 2 games to talk about. Them Lakers, man. Them Lakers. The Lakers are now 0-3. We already been talking about their shooting. They literally had the worst shooting. With the comment of LeBron James making, you can't shoot a penny in the ocean. Well, I think I can shoot a dime in a trash can because a dime is smaller than a penny, but I feel like I can make it if I'm standing 20 feet away. So LeBron finished with 31. AD had 22 points to finish it off. Um, Westbrook finished with off points. I don't even think he deserved points with his shooting performance, but we account his points. He had 10 points, and he went the worst. He went 4 for 15. Lonnie Walker went 7 for 13, and then Pat Beverly only shot 3 shots the whole entire game. Their 3-pointers were 6 from 33 that game. No, wait a minute. Yeah, 6 from 33 from 3-pointer. And they made more shots than the Portland Trailblazers did. They made 41 total shots out of 92. Trailblazers made 37 of 84. Very interesting on that. Lillard had 41, dropped 41 on the Lakers. I don't think he'll be the only person to do that. With Jeremy Grant following up with 16 points. Him and Jeremy Grant had an awesome game. LeBron defense, I felt like wasn't even there that game also. Because think about it. Come on, man. When LeBron has his defense, is on his defense, I don't think anybody really scoring too much unless you have to be like a center and just to get over him. But, man, it was like you letting one of the scrawniest dude blow right past you and you don't get no contest. Like, come on. It's like that was like me shooting a penny in a trash can, basically, right there. But, yeah, a lot of people say this is not their team. They're looking for trading options now, not just for Westbrook. They're looking for trading options for other people as well, too, to take with Westbrook so they can get rid of his contract that way. So they feel like they're exploring Gordon Hayward from the Hornets right now. So Gordon Hayward would have picked Westbrook and another player. They asked a lot of NBA analysts that. They said that would probably actually be a good fit anyway because Gordon Hayward can shoot the ball as well too. So I don't know. I'll see. I'll get more updates on that and see what happens. See if they do have a trade. But the trade rumors are still true. Supposedly, they're still trying to get rid of Westbrook. So far from that, any comments on the Lakers?
I mean, I got one quick thing to say for Portland. Well, 2 things. One, they're 3-0. I don't think anybody saw them starting off 3-0 and being great to start the year. And number 2, I might be reading this wrong, but Josh Hart had 16 rebounds yesterday.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
16. He's a guard. That is unreal. But
yeah, my bad. I left that out of my notes.
Wow.
Yeah. Josh Hart. He had 16 rebounds.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so that's 3 more rebounds than Nurkic. So,
and you know what's funny is when you watch, and speaking of Nurkic, when you're watching the game, I don't know if you saw the corner 3 by Anthony Davis, and Nurkic didn't even contest it. He just literally walked away and he's just waiting for the rebound, and he hit the backboard, the side of the backboard. Like, teams just don't respect the Lakers from outside the arc at all. Even a mid-range shot, they're like, all right, take it. We don't care. As long as you're not driving in the lane on us, because teams know LeBron's a great finisher at the rim. Anthony Davis is very good under the rim as well. And Westbrook likes to drive down the lane. But if you force them to have to shoot the ball, I'm shocked they got 104 points. I mean, that is crazy.
I'll say this. Ben Simmons, if you give the Lakers 100 threes, just the Lakers squad 100 threes, and you give Ben Simmons alone 100 threes, I'm putting my money on Ben Simmons, bro. At this point,
I ain't touching Ben Simmons at all.
I don't care. I'm putting my money on Ben Simmons, bro. Come on. 6 threes for what, like 20? Like, come on. Like, that is crazy.
They are in 3 games, the Lakers are 25 and 118.
And here's the thing. Their average, like the average of shooting percentage total from each game, nobody has even over 50. The highest is like 46 on their team. But everybody else is like 38, 39, 40, 41. It's like, or under. Like in the last 3 games, their percent average for every shot that they shot it's like less than 50%. Like, man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But
All
all
right,
I
I'll
gotta
say.
say is, oh, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna just go on the general aspect is for me, for you to be a successful team in the NBA, the two biggest things you need in today's game is you gotta have a 3-pointer. If you can't shoot the three ball, you have no chance in today's league. And number two, you can't be all the focus cannot be on the star player. For instance, the Lakers, LeBron James had 31 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. He played outstanding. But because they're so LeBron-centric right now, they can't win games because they don't have a three-point shot. They can't really depend on anybody else outside of him. I mean, Anthony Davis had a good game. But, like, if nobody's going to respect the three ball from you, they're like, what are you going to ask from them? It's the same thing with, we go to a different team, my Sixers. They don't shoot the three ball particularly great so far. And our bench has looked horrible this season. I mean, it has not looked good. James Harden has not been the issue, by the way. He's looked very good for the Sixers. Embiid looked good against San Antonio, but you should go look good against San Antonio. But the fact that they lost at home in that game was really bad. Only reason the Sixers aren't getting us talked about for being disappointing is because of the Lakers. So thank you for thank the Lakers for that. But
yeah,
there's a lot of issues over there too for the Sixers. And they got a game tonight against Indiana. If they lose that game, I know it's only 4 games in, but they should not be 0-4 right now.
Yeah, I believe that too. When you watch I was watching Damian Lillard, and Dame's back. Let's just say that %. Let's just say that Dame is back. You let Jeremy Grant drive you to the lane, and by the way, that was a foul. By the way,
yeah,
that last possession, that was a foul. By the way, you let him drive to the lane like that, get an and one, and you come down the other end. I love LeBron to death. I love him. He is like baller. Don't get it twisted at all. I'm not saying anything. He's not a baller. I'm just saying he's a great man. He is a baller. But that was a really high, that was a low percentage shot that you took to end that game, man. Even if it is Damian Lillard on you backing him up, faking, turning around and shooting, that's a tough shot. And y'all know y'all haven't been making shots, knocking down shots. You got to take that to the cup, regardless if you don't get fouled or not. You got to use your strong suit at driving to the cup with the game on the line. Not trying to make 21 foot or 19 foot jumpers turning around trying to be like Kobe. Like that's not it, man. I'm sorry. I mean, you got to jump. You are a historical player, but that's just not your game, bro. That's just not your game. When it's closing time. When it's closing time, that is not your game. Your game, take it to the lane or put up a nice little 10-footer. Not turning around trying to do a fade away 19-foot J. That's not your game, bro. You're not Kobe. I'm sorry, but that's a Kobe shot. You're not Kobe. That's all I got to say about that. I mean, Dame was 41 points, had 6 threes, 5 rebounds. I mean, there's nothing else to say about that. And the production that they got from the bench was 7 points from Winslow. Little had 7. Eubanks had 4 in his 13 minutes. Sharp had 4 in his 16 minutes. That shows you that they're getting bench production. So
and out rebounded the Lakers.
Out rebounded the doggone Lakers. They had 52 rebounds. 52 rebounds. The Lakers had 40. Do you understand
Inexcusable.
that? 52 rebounds.
Man. That's insane.
Like, especially for the big mans, bro. The big mans for the Lakers, bro. Come on. Compared to the size that the Trailblazers had, you got, like, they only got basically one big man that is the size that can only, like, be down there with Anthony Davis. And you got to give him his props because, next year, bro, you most of the time you have to keep him on the court because that's basically the only big man they got for real. Winslow, yeah, he a power forward, but he's not like the big type of power forward. He's a power
Jeremy
forward.
Grant is there for.
He's gonna pull you out and blow right past you and get a bucket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's crazy. I say, and one thing the Lakers got to stop doing as well too is like if the fast break is not there, don't continue to pursue the fast break. That's what my coach taught me. It's like if you know you have it and you see something and you got the fast break, but it closes out early than you think, don't pursue it. Don't try to throw the ball down. Don't do anything. Bring the ball up, run a play. Let's get active on our plays. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to get anything that you can't get or that's not there. You know what I'm saying? Like Russell Westbrook on my last minute shot he took. Should never took it. Like you had a little bit of time to set up a quick play, do what you had to do, move the ball around, see what you had open. Yes, the mid-range was open. But if you know you're shooting 4 for Jack's squad on the board, I think my mama's older than him, and I feel like she can shoot on any given Sunday. But man, like that was an unacceptable shot. I feel like he should never took as well too. And they just have to figure out like their fast break transitions coming down the court. They got to stop shooting so much and start attacking a little bit more, in my opinion. But
yeah, on the fast break, you're right. On the fast break, they need to go to the lane. I hate when teams get on the fast break and they try to settle for a 3-point shot, like LeBron James did and got blocked by Damian Lillard. Y'all on a fast break, oh, I'm going to just pull up. They backing out. Oh, I'm going to pull up from 3. And Dame Dollar coming behind you and swats your shot away. Give me that crap. Like, bro, like, what are you doing? You know you're LeBron James. Go take the easy 2. Ain't nobody stopping a steam locomotive coming at them 100 miles per hour. Ain't nobody is stopping that. You just go to the lane and take the 2.
Look what he did to Nurkic last year. Come on now. You had a highlight dunk on him last year. Do the same thing.
Literally,
he can't jump with you.
Instead, I want to pull up on a fast break, knowing everybody's still running down the court to get back on defense. I want to pull up. I want to pull up at the top of the key and be like Steph Curry. Bro, you're not Steph. Like, I don't understand why people keep doing that. Keep shooting threes all like they Steph Curry. If the 3 is not falling, play your game.
Mm-hmm.
That goes to show you Steph Curry changed the game. But
hey, man, rest in peace to the greatest or one of the greatest of all time, Kobe. But, man, I guarantee he's rolling around, bro, and just thinking like, this is not the team I played for. I know for a fact.
Heck no, that's not the organization that dude played for.
Like, man, like Kobe, man, you need to look down on these boys and tell them something.
For real, you gotta show them the way or something, because this ain't this 25 for 118, and they keep shooting. They keep shooting.
Literally, what Stephen A. said. They keep shooting. They keep shooting. Stop it. Stop it,
bro. If you know it's not falling, stop shooting. Like, I don't get it. I don't get how it goes through your head. If something is not going right, I'm gonna keep doing it. That's like I'm gonna wake up in the morning and just go stand outside in the rain and not get nothing out of it. But I'm gonna keep doing it. Like, why? Like, I just don't understand. Like, I don't get it. But anything else in basketball we got to know about? I mean,
I say an interesting game was the Cavaliers versus the Wizards, man. Donovan Mitchell home game for the Cavaliers. He dropped 37 points, bro. Went 5 for 12 from 3, had 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 12-29 overall. But I mean, you still got LeVert. LeVert had 10. Mobley had 10. Jared Allen, they center, had 14 rebounds with 15. But that's not it. D Wade had 12 points. Not the Dwayne Wade. No, not Dwayne Wade. Another D Wade. Well, Osman had 16, and like they have a bench this year that can shoot. They got a starting lineup that can go crazy. That's perfect. I say Cavaliers will have a better season this year now that they got rid of some of their younger players, brought in some veterans. Not anything to their team. Last year, they still had a good squad. It was just mostly their defense side of the ball, and they didn't really have the shooters last year. But Cavaliers is not a team to be slept on. I'll say they're going to be a good team.
Yeah, I know they kicked my Bulls behind, so I know that they're not gonna sleep on them the rest of the season.
Yeah, especially they're a good defensive team as well. Um, Jared Allen had some crazy blocks in the game, but hey, the Wizards still not doing bad either. Both teams are 2-1 right now in the last 3 games. Bradley Beal had 27, Morris had 13, with Porzingis 18 with 11 rebounds, and Kyle Kuzma finished with 11 points. Mm-hmm. And their rookie, I don't know how to say his last name. Y'all just go have to look at it. It's his last name started with a Hachimura. He finished with 16 points as well too, coming off the bench. I feel like they should put him in the starting lineup, in my opinion, over the other small forward, because if they add him in there and he's destined to drop double-digit points a game, that would have been a close game right there. Probably even overtime, maybe. If they started him instead, he would have probably had at least 25. I say that was the game of the night, not the Trailblazers. Well, Trailblazers and Lakers was the game, but in my opinion, that was the game of the night, just to see how everything they would contest up against them. But just injury update from the last injury update, Zion Williamson was back off his ankle injury, did drop some points, but he has now been injured again. And no, it was not his fault. Sometimes people in the NBA can do stupid things. Sometimes it's not you trying to do it or purposely trying to hurt somebody, but Zion had a fast break, open opportunity, and Jordan Clarkson came up alongside him, tried to contest the layup, but pulled his arm down, and he landed on his hip and his back. He's going to be out for a while. No update for how long. He has a hip contusion. And, man, I can tell you from personal experience from those hip contusions, those things, they can last a good minute. So he can be out for weeks, or he can be out maybe for a few months. But I say with the game, in my opinion, the 2 games coming up tonight, personal favorite, I say the 76ers should definitely win against the Pacers. But game of tonight will be the Grizzlies going against the Nets. The Nets are 1-1, Grizzlies are 2-1. So those are the 2 games tonight. That's all we have for updates as well for right now.
Okay. And we ain't gonna sleep on the Utah Jazz are 3-0. So that's a crazy. That's the most impressive stat out of everything.
They played
Utah Jazz are 3-0 without Donovan Mitchell. So
Colin Sexton looking real good with them.
They're gelling. You can tell by the way they play. They're gelling. They're all in there together, and they're gelling. So
yeah, absolutely.
So we're gonna go to Billy with with all football. Go ahead, Bill.
Well, in the NFL, I'll start with the NFL for now. Good games. I mean, a lot of blowouts, to be honest with you. Some low-scoring games. I think everyone could agree the most surprising one was Carolina beating the Bucs. Not many people probably had that game happening. You got to be nervous if you're Tampa Bay. I mean, they just offensively can't put up 3 points against the worst team in the NFL. That's inexcusable. I know Carolina's defense has actually been not the issue. They've actually got a really good defense, but you can't get in the end zone one time. I mean, Mike Evans had the bad drop. They were getting a lot of pressure on Brady. I mean, the clear and evident thing is the offensive line for Tampa Bay, it's not very good right now. They're very banged up, and you can see Brady is just not comfortable at all. They have no run game. And Carolina, I mean, PJ Walker, he didn't play crazy, but he played good enough for them to win. But they ran the ball very well without Christian McCaffrey, believe it or not. They had 173 yards on the ground. That is a big win. And I'm going to say this, and this might sound like a hot take, and I know they just lost this week, but do not be surprised if the Falcons are able to win this division. And I know that might sound like a hot take, but Atlanta, outside of the Bengals game, They have been competitive in every single game. It's all one-possession games. Mariota has not been bad for them. They also haven't been asking Mariota to do a lot. The issue with Atlanta this week is literally their entire secondary was out hurt this week. That's why Joe Burrow threw for like 1,000 yards. But for me, Atlanta's got the easiest remaining schedule. They run the ball very well. They know their identity. And right now, Tampa Bay just looks – they don't even know what they don't know what they are yet. And Atlanta's got Carolina this week. Maybe Carolina is better now. We don't know. I don't think they are, but we shall see. Dallas was able to take care of business at home against Detroit. Detroit looked like they were in the game. It looked like TJ Hawkinson scored a touchdown to take the lead in the fourth quarter. And then they reviewed it, and then they said that he was just short of the end zone. And then the very next play, Detroit fumbles the ball at the 1 yard line. That is the most Detroit Lion thing ever. And then after that, the Cowboys were able to take control and win the game. Dak didn't play particularly great, but he played good enough for them to win the game. Titans sweep the Colts. Titans look very good this year after their blowout loss against Buffalo. They've won 4 straight games. So watch out for them. Malik Willis also went in the game when Ryan Tannehill went down, so we'll keep you updated on that. Commanders beat the Packers. The Packers, man, they look bad. I mean, they look bad. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to go put a lot of the blame on this game on Aaron Rodgers. He missed some throws. He was making bad reads. If you look at the tape, there was guys wide open, and he was just throwing checkdowns. He clearly has no trust in these receivers. That has to change soon. The Giants with another close victory. They're 6-1. They just every week they just keep defying the odds and winning games. And their schedule coming up is not the toughest. I think Seattle looks pretty good, but they should handle business there. Then they got Texans and the Lions coming up. So they're probably going to scatter off a couple more wins. Ravens, Browns, another great AFC North matchup. Browns had a 56-yard field goal. Then they got I think it was a false start. And then they had to kick a 61-yard field goal to tie, and the kicker missed it. Cleveland just keeps shooting themselves in the foot, and the Ravens finally won a close game. So good for Cleveland, or good for Baltimore. The Jets, with Breece Hall going down, go to Denver and beat the Broncos without Russell Wilson. So even without Russell Wilson, that offense can't do a lot either. Raiders handle business against the Texans. How about Kansas City, though? Dropped 44 points against the number 1 defense in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes is playing some great football, and the Chiefs' offense just look unstoppable every single week. I would not be worried if you're a Niners fan. The NFC West has been very shaky to start the year, but you got to be alarmed a little bit in the sense that you got to have sometimes where Jimmy Garoppolo's got to take over a game, and they needed him this week, and he didn't show up. Also, one big stat: when the Niners are trailing in the fourth quarter, Kyle Shanahan is 1-29 as a head coach. So just they clearly need a lead going into a game late. And Dolphins, Steelers. Dolphins were able to handle business. There was no points scored in the second half of that game. Tua played well after the concussion injury, but Steelers, Kenny Pickett made some pretty not so good throws at the end of that game. And Pittsburgh had plenty of opportunities to win that game, but they just couldn't be able to go. And the game tonight, the Chicago Bears go to the Patriots. Does Bailey Zappi win another game? Does he move on to 3-0? I think he does. But it matters. I think it depends on how Justin Fields plays. It depends on if he's able to throw the ball, because we know how good Chicago is at running the ball. You know, New England's going to take that out of the game as much as they can. So it's going to come down to, could Justin Herbert throw the ball in that Patriots secondary? And the Patriots got a very good secondary. So I think we'll see how that one goes later. But that's the NFL for you for week 7.
Yeah, watching the Bears is like giving yourself a heart attack, really, before it even starts. If you know the Bears are starting it, you already know you're disappointed. Yeah. So I'm probably not even going to tune into that game. I'll probably look at the updates, but I mean, I just can't watch I mean, I just can't watch my Bears right now. I mean, they're awful. They're just bad. And then you go to Dallas next week. I'm just probably not really watching no NFL because both my teams suck. So Bears and Broncos. So they
Bears
suck.
don't have their offense, bro. It's like he has people to throw to, but not like think about other teams though. Like look at the people they have to throw to. Like, of course they got those guys, but like think about it, bro. It's not, I wouldn't say it's really like Fields. It's like some of the plays they run on certain downs, bro. It's like, come on. I'm like, he can throw on the run. Play action.
Oh, yeah, play call.
I'm like, play action, bro. Like, one thing with Fields, bro, he can sell a good play action. I would play action the team so much, bro, because play action seemed to work for them a little bit more than shotgun, in my opinion. Like, you got a quarterback who's that tall, who's that, like, he can be consistent, but, like, your play calling has not been there as well, too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got him, he can run the ball, he can throw the ball, but he doesn't have really anybody to throw the ball too deep. He only can throw most of the time across or post routes, like, but I'm not saying he can't throw the ball deep, but I'm just saying it's like it's some of the play callings, and he just needs a really like reliable receiver also that he can throw to. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's 50-50 on certain stuff.
I think the issue with Chicago is, I feel really bad for Justin Fields in this scenario, is Justin Fields' rookie year, the Bears were not very great. I think we can all agree. And they fired the general manager and the head coach who drafted him. Now it's a new general manager. It's a new head coach. And now that the Bears are bad, let's just say that the Bears, they maybe win one or two more games. Let's just say they go 4-13 for the rest of the year. Do you think they're going to fire those guys? They're going to say, hey, we didn't draft this quarterback. This isn't our guy. And they're going to get rid of Justin. They're going to go draft another guy. It sucks because he's put in a really bad situation. They got a good run game. They could run the ball very well, Chicago. If you watch their games, David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert, they are running the ball well. So is Fields. The issue is they don't have the best offensive line when it comes to protecting. The issue is they don't have really a receiving core whatsoever. I mean, they have a very below average receiving core. Darnell Mooney's a good receiver. He can't be your number one. It's as simple as that. And I don't even think they have a number two. Cole Kmet, I think he's talented. I think he's good. Got to involve him more in the game. And for me, if you want to settle Fields down and help him out somewhat, like you said, let's hit him with some play action. Let's roll him out. He's not a true pocket quarterback right now. He could develop into one, but he's not a pocket quarterback right now. What you got to do is hit some with the RPOs. Why do you think some of these young quarterbacks had a lot of success? Because they're giving them one read to look at and just getting the ball out of their hands quick, and then they're setting up the big play. Chicago is not doing that. We're going to run the ball down your throat, and then once in a while, we're just going to have Fields throw maybe 15 times a game. And that can't work. It just does not work. So, for me, I think New England is a tough defense. It's a tough test. It's a tough ask for that Bears offense to try to move the ball. I think it's also in New England, too. I think right now, Chicago's more on, we know the Vikings are probably the best team in this division. They're probably going to win this and probably win the NFC North. But when it comes to our team, we're trying to look into our future. And right now, if you're the Bears, you're just trying to see what you can get out of Justin. And if you truly believe, all right, he clearly is not our guy, and you want to go in the draft next year, you've got to find out sooner rather than later, and you have to see what his strengths are now and play with him now.
I guarantee this, though. If let me piggyback off that just for a sec. I say this: if the Bears don't stay with him, I know a team that he'll fit perfect with and actually have a quarterback. All you need is another wide receiver and a running back, but they can always find that. He would be perfect fit for the Panthers, in my opinion.
I mean,
perfect fit.
It depends on what they do. And to me, if you have a young quarterback, and it's the same thing with Kenny Pickett, by the way, you can't have a defensive head coach with a young quarterback anymore. It just doesn't work. If you look at it, all the great teams today, all offensive coaches, except Buffalo. Buffalo's the only exception. Kansas City's got Andy Reid. Eagles, Nick Sirianni, Giants, Brian Dable. Minnesota went for Mike Zimmer and they couldn't win a lot of games. Now they got an offensive coach and they look like one of the best teams in the NFL all of a sudden. I mean, if you go down the list, it comes down to, can that team, they need an offensive coach. And literally outside of Buffalo, there's not a lot of great teams with defensive head coaches. You're seeing it with Pittsburgh. You're seeing it with Chicago. New England's inconsistent right now. I mean, they'll probably figure it out because they got Bill Belichick at head coach. But overall, I mean, look at Tampa Bay. All the changes they did was go from Bruce Arians, offensive coach, to Todd Bowles, defensive coach. And all of a sudden, they look like a completely different team. Brady looks completely different, right? I mean, just overall, look at the Saints. Sean Payton, coach there, consistently winning seasons. All of a sudden, they have a defensive coach. They can barely win games. Like, when you look at it from that perspective, to me, if you're Carolina too, if you're Chicago, or if Chicago's probably going to keep their head coach next year, you got to get an offensive coach. And if you don't, you got to get a hell of a play caller. You know what I mean?
True.
I mean,
that's the way to look at it.
I mean, you can't even really say it's Justin Fields' fault because he's been with coaches that, with Nagy, that was his first year. That was his first head coaching job. The guy we got now hasn't really coached much in the NFL at the head coaching job. He doesn't have a head coach, let alone the offensive line. That offensive line is a run-blocking offensive line. They can't pass block. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Like you said, NFL Week 7 has came and gone. There have been a lot of upsets, especially with the Buccaneers. They don't look right. Then you have Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they're the worst football team in the entire NFL. They're bad. They are really bad. And it shows every week. So let's run to college real quick, see what we got. And there were some crazy games in college as well as I've seen.
Oh, yeah. I think in college, no one's disagreeing with me on this. The upset of the week, without question, was LSU beating Ole Miss the way they did. I mean, that was an ass kicking. 45-20. Ole Miss supposed to be at their number 7 in the country.
But Ole Miss,
and their quarterback for LSU
didn't start off too hot. They didn't start off too hot though.
LSU, yeah, they did start off a little slow. I mean, they had some losses, but to me, Ole Miss, LSU's quarterback threw for 248, 2 touchdowns, and also ran for 121 yards and 3 touchdowns. I get it, Ole Miss's strength is not defense, but then you got to be able to score on offense, and Dart threw for 283 and 1 interception. That can't happen. That just cannot happen if you're Ole Miss. But LSU right now, they're trying to make a name for themselves in the SEC, but I think we can all agree that there's 3 top dogs right now in the SEC, and it does not involve LSU right now. But they're making a name for themselves, and that's good. When they got a new head coach, you got to keep in mind with Brian Kelly. I think we can all agree. We can all clearly see the difference. Brian Kelly from Notre Dame to LSU, it's paid huge dividends. Going down the list, Texas goes down to Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is very good. They're one of the top teams in the country every single year for a reason. Quinn Ewers did struggle a little bit. He threw under 50% completion. He threw 3 interceptions. That cannot happen. But he's a young guy. I think he's 18, 19 years old. That's going to happen against a tough team. Alabama, Mississippi State, was 30-6 the final. But if you look at it from a stat perspective, it was equal. Every stat was equal. It was the closest blowout game I think I've ever seen in my life. Yards were a difference of 3. First downs, Alabama only had 1 more. The difference was one team had 10 penalties compared to Alabama, 10-3. Turnovers. 1 turnover was committed by Mississippi State. We all know how good Alabama is. We knew that they were going to come back and answer after they lost to Tennessee. TCU went out there, and every week they just keep playing well against ranked teams. They beat Kansas State. Max Duggan, again, is playing great football, 280 and 3 touchdowns. Miller, the running back, ran for 153 and 2 touchdowns. He's having a great year. But looking at it, Oregon and at UCLA gets their first loss of the year. I think this tells you how good Georgia is, that Oregon has not lost, and they've been blowing out a lot of people, but their only loss is to Georgia. They lost by 40. I think that tells you how good Georgia is. And Syracuse gave Clemson a really good fight. Clemson's quarterback got benched during the game. But I don't know if you saw Dabo Swinney's comment after the game. He said sometimes Steph Curry goes 2 for 25. But you got to just keep shooting when you're one of the best ever. And he clearly has a lot of confidence. DJ said he's absolutely going to be starting next week. You would expect DJ to answer back. He's one of the best quarterbacks in college. He's been playing unbelievable this year. Their next game is at Notre Dame. Even though Notre Dame's not been great this year, those are usually some very good games between those two schools. So I think that's going to be a good game next week. But I think we can also say this too. Hendon Hooker is still currently the Heisman in college football. They just put up 65 points this week, so they are they're still there. That is.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about that.
But I'm waiting on you to bring up one game
I know you about it. All right, Ohio State.
No, not even Ohio State. Even Ohio State.
Oh,
the Oklahoma State and Texas game was Texas
I brought
losing
that up.
to
Yeah,
Oklahoma State.
I said that.
Oh, okay. I was making sure because
Yeah, he said that.
I had to make sure. But man, I was like watching that game and looking at it and rewatching all the highlights. I'm like, man, this is crazy. Still wasn't
great
expecting.
Game. Yeah, I mean, it's a great game. I mean, look, Oklahoma State's got a lot of veterans. I mean, their quarterback has been around for, I feel like, 10 years. I feel like I've always seen Sanders being the quarterback for Oklahoma State. I know they just lost last week. I believe they lost to TCU, but they lost TCU in double overtime. Yeah, TCU's good. I mean, it's not like TCU's a bad football team. They are very good this year.
They were actually losing by double digits at one point in time in that game that I've seen. They were losing by double digits.
Wait, say that again. Who was losing by double digits?
TCU was actually losing by double digits in that game. They were losing like 28-17 at the end of the half. So they were losing by double digits, and they didn't allow a point in the second half. So their TCU is
they're unbelievable.
They're real. I mean, I can say they're real. I didn't believe it.
They are definitely real.
The hype. I didn't believe the hype at first. I was like, they got to beat somebody real, and they did that, and they beat Oklahoma State the week before that. So I give them their props. They real.
And the good thing for TCU is their upcoming schedule. It's really not the most difficult. They got West Virginia, Texas Tech.
Texas Tech plays everyone tough, so.
They do. They can put up points, definitely. Baylor's been a little bit disappointing this year, and Iowa State's 3-4. All I'm getting to is they've beaten the teams. They've beaten the top teams in the Big 12. Like Oklahoma, they beat very bad. They beat Kansas, beat Oklahoma State, beat Kansas State. But now you just got to be able to. Because I think right now, if TCU goes undefeated and they go 12-0. I think that they might be able to make a name for themselves to make the college football playoff. I don't think that that's crazy because Alabama's got a loss. You're going to assume loses to Penn State this week. I'm not saying it's going to happen because I don't think it is. I think it'll be a good game. But if that happens, I mean, Michigan's making a real name. I mean, Michigan will then get in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
unless they go to Ohio State and get their ass kicked. But
And don't forget, they got the Big Ten
TC
championship game too. So when they play,
That's
they
what I'm
end up playing
saying.
each other as well. So
Well,
you
thing
got
is,
that.
Big Ten, Michigan, Ohio State, they're both on the same side. So whoever
Right.
gets out of the Big Ten, I'm assuming the other team's not making the playoff, right? I mean, whoever doesn't make it out of
Illinois
those
looks
two teams-
good. Illinois don't have a loss.
Illinois
That's
is
the
very
crazy
good.
part. They don't have a loss. So if
Yo,
you telling
I'm
me
gonna
if
tell you
they go
something.
in
They
there
got a
and
good quarterback.
upset Michigan, you telling me if Illinois go in there and upset Michigan in the Big Ten playoff game?
I'm not saying it's crazy, but it's not a lot. Doesn't happen often where a Big Ten West team has won the championship game. It's been a lot of Big Ten East, whether it's Ohio State or Michigan, or I think Michigan
Right.
State a couple of years ago, Penn State. Like those teams are really the ones that control it. I couldn't tell you the last time a Big Ten West team has won the Big Ten championship. I really couldn't tell you the last time. I think it was 10 years ago. But I'll say this though, for Penn State side of things in the Big Ten, they just went out and beat Minnesota pretty bad. Now Minnesota, very disappointing this year. They are 4-3. They're 1-3 in the Big Ten. That can't happen. But like you said, Illinois, they do have one loss. They're 3-1 in the Big Ten. Their one loss though, it came to trying to make sure they lost to Indiana early in the year. I mean, Indiana earlier in the year did look good. I'm not gonna lie. But after that, Illinois was able to beat Iowa. They beat Minnesota, beat Wisconsin badly at the Badgers.
Now they finna beat
And their upcoming
Nebraska.
schedule, they got
They finna kill
Nebraska, they got
Nebraska.
Michigan State, Purdue. Now they do play Michigan in mid-November. And so that'll be in 4 or 5 weeks from now. I mean, that's a big game. That is
If
a
they
huge
win that-
game.
I can tell you, if they win that game, they're going to be easily in the top 10 going into the Big Ten National Championship game.
I say
Big
because
Ten.
Easily in the top 10. It's not even close. It's easily in the top 10.
yeah,
And
I say
then if they somehow
Illinois.
salvage the Big Ten championship, they would make a real case at going to the college football playoff.
If
Like,
they
people
win
look
out
at, oh,
and
no,
they
ain't
win the
no
Big
way,
Ten
it's gonna
championship
be
game,
Georgia, it's going to be Tennessee, and it's going to be Alabama in there. There's not going to be if Illinois beats Michigan in the regular season and the Big Ten championship game, that's a bigger case than Alabama and Tennessee combined. Because they beat them
100%.
twice. So I ain't saying it's gonna happen, but yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think right now, when it comes to Illinois, if they 100% agree with you. And by the way, I think we all love Blake Corum, right? And he's been having a great year in Michigan, right? For running
Oh
backs.
yeah.
Same thing with the running back from Texas, Bijan Robinson. Nobody's talking about the running back from Illinois. He's got over 1,000 yards already. He has been outstanding. But a little change of subject real quick. I just got an update. Turns out Breece Hall for the Jets just tore his ACL. It is confirmed. So that
So
is
this season has definitely just shifted.
It definitely did. I mean, listen, they're going to have to depend on Zach Wilson. And to be quite frank, if you've been watching Jet games, they've really not needed Zach Wilson to be the guy. Not saying he can't be, but they really haven't been asking him to do much. I think he's only thrown over 200 yards in 1 out of his 4 starts. Michael Carter is a very good player. I think we can all agree. It's not like they don't have enough talent at running back to replace him. But Breece Hall has been unbelievable this year. He has been the best rookie running back so far. It's not even a debate. The only one you can maybe make the case for is Dameon Pierce from Houston. But what Breece Hall has been doing, he's been carrying the Jets. And them losing him that's going to hurt them.
And I told you Oregon gonna win that game. Oregon beat UCLA. But we always saying whoever was at home that game is gonna win that game.
Yeah, we said that. Yeah. And
then you got
I gotta say
Clemson, they beat Syracuse, and then Ohio State just trounced Iowa.
I'm not even impressed with that win. Iowa stinks. Their offense is so bad. It's not even funny. They scored. Listen, They scored 10 points, Iowa, and the only touchdown was from a fumble recovery into the end zone. Their offense scored 3 points all day. They stink. There's no but. There's no whoa. They just stink.
Hey, look.
They are terrible. They can't.
All I'm gonna say is, I know it ain't our season. I'm still supporting my squad, but hey, I still got to go for my boy and them too. They pulled off the victory as well, Ohio State. So it's
Ohio State's good. Ohio State is
all
absolutely great.
But I'll say this: they have one of the two games that they facing against a team. They have Penn State next week, so it's gonna be.
I'm sorry. Just talking about Iowa real quick. They were 1 for 13 on third down. That is bad. 8 first downs all day. They had barely over 150 yards of offense. I'm shocked they even did that. 3.4 yards per pass. Ohio State had 9.2. They threw 3 interceptions. They had 6 turnovers in this game.
Bro, let me tell you something.
I mean,
they used 2 quarterbacks, and they both didn't even reach 85 yards. 2 quarterbacks played in that game, and they both didn't reach 85 yards. Combined,
both quarterbacks.
Combined.
Bro.
Not one.
The one quarterback had a 5.9 QBR. 5.9 QBR. The other guy, 3.1. Are you kidding me?
I'm sorry.
Even CJ Stroud didn't even have his best game.
And I'm sorry, Joe and Tina. I love y'all, but Iowa sucks. Okay?
They're bad, dude.
This year for football is not y'all year. The Pittsburgh Steelers are trash. They are terrible. I'm sorry. They suck right now. I'm sorry, but Iowa's football team is probably worse than the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, I have never seen a team that didn't have 2 quarterbacks come into the game, and they both didn't even combine for 100 yards. Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? I don't care how good Ohio State is. Bro, I know darn well that when that second quarterback came in, it was the backup defense on the freaking field. That's second and third string players on that field. And you couldn't go down the field at least one time? You telling me y'all couldn't even get 100 yards passing in 2 quarterbacks?
Man.
I got nothing to say about that. Let's move on. I don't even want to talk. I don't even need to talk about Iowa no more. They stink. The whole world know they stink. Iowas know they stink. I'm sorry, Joe and Tina. I know y'all know they stink. They're trash. Let's move on.
You're trash.
That's all the football we got for this for Monday, and we don't have Donovan here, but we're gonna all chip in and look at hockey real quick. So, Meet, you got anything on hockey?
Hockey, man, it's gonna be an interesting game. I say Maple Leafs and Golden Knights. They're both 4-2, and they both have 8 points tied together. That's gonna be definitely the game of the night. Can't forget about our St. Louis Blues, baby. We play tonight as well too. We play against the Jets. We should easily win that without a doubt. But I mean, hockey's taking off. It's been some interesting teams, I say, so far that's been taking over. Not even surprisingly, like the top teams from last year have not even been like really doing that good, which is surprising. You have all these other teams who finished with the worst record is have more points or tied with points, but have a better record than these teams, which is crazy. So I'll definitely be looking at the hockey games tonight because I'm more interested in the hockey matches, lineups, and everything tonight than I am in those NBA games, to be honest.
I'm just going to say that the Edmonton Oilers have not looked like the Oilers of last year. I mean, obviously, you got McDavid that's been playing well, and then you got Leafs Draisaitl playing well. But Sidney Crosby has been the superstar for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and he has 10 points. He has 3 goals, and he has 7 assists. So, I mean, he's leading their team in all categories. So, he's definitely right now making a case for, the best player in hockey right now.
Without a doubt.
And looking at their goalie comparison, he's only allowed 2 goals on Well, both their goalies are allowing only 2 goals. So that's means they're having over a 900 save percentage. So there's really no goals being scored against them at all.
Yeah.
There's barely any goals being scored against them. Pittsburgh Penguins is looking really good right now. The Toronto Maple Leafs, I'm not believing the hype. I'm sorry. They're the Dallas Cowboys. And Dallas Stars look good, too, as well.
I mean,
Got Robertson.
Oh, yeah.
Don't count the Maple Leafs out, though. I mean,
you can't. I mean, you can count them out. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid, though.
Hey, they are 4. They lost 2. They won 4. Go tonight, same thing. Like, I'm saying this now, like, Maple Leafs might be bad, but, man, how they've been playing, they might have come out with a better record than most of these top-tier teams. I'm telling you. They might happen.
Okay, but yeah, but let's just be real. They lost to the Arizona Coyotes at home.
Sure.
Come on. They allowed 4 goals to the Arizona Coyotes.
You're right.
4 goals to the Arizona Coyotes. Really? But I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid until they can prove to me that they can win consistently. I'm not drinking that Kool-Aid, bro. I'm sorry. I'm not drinking it. The Arizona Coyotes.
Nah.
But my Blackhawks don't look bad. My Blackhawks aren't actually. They won yesterday against the Kraken, even though the Kraken sucks. But hey, I'm taking a win when I see it.
Yeah.
They won against the Kraken. They beat the Detroit Red Wings. Oh yeah, Daryl. How do y'all feel about that? L. That's my cousin, by the way. He's from Detroit, and we give him smoke all the time. So how about that? Yeah, my Blackhawks are 3-2, and they should have been a lot worse. So I'm optimistic. Obviously, Patrick Kane is that guy. Obviously, but we all know they're not really for the playoffs. But I'm taking the high hopes that we got at this moment. So go Blackhawks.
The game is Friday. Phillies versus Astros Friday at Houston.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
and I'll say this though. I'm the same way with you, Jalen, with my team, the Flyers, man. They should not be 4-2. And by the way, Carter Hart, he's 4-0 as the starter. He's not looking too bad. But I think he'll come back down to earth. They just got smoked by San Jose, and San Jose is not very good. So I'm not expecting too much from the Flyers, but I do agree right now. Pittsburgh looks unbelievably good. But I think we can all agree, like, the Rangers are still going to be one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. Same thing with Tampa Bay, even though they're struggling right now. They'll figure it out.
Yeah. Tampa Bay figures out every single season. We always say, count them out. They always find a way to win. Always.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing in the West. Calgary is looking very good. I think we can all agree. St. Louis is having a hot start to the season. But when we talk about teams again, I know Colorado's having a shaky start, but they're Stanley Cup champions. They did lose some key guys, but they also kept a good amount of their core. I mean, McKinnon's their top player. They have the best defenseman in all of hockey in Cale Makar. I know they got some guys banged up, but when they get healthy, they'll get rolling and they'll be one of the top teams in the West. And Dallas Stars, like you guys were talking about, they're playing unbelievable hockey too. Their goalie has been outstanding. But it's early. But I think right now in hockey, safe to say, you also got some teams like Carolina. We haven't talked about Carolina. They're looking very good. Florida is still one of the top teams. And also another team is playing very well is Boston.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get I got my Blackhawks play Florida tomorrow, actually, and we're going to get trounced. So
they're good, man. They're good.
Florida's a different beast.
And like I just said, Boston, too. Boston's having a very good start to the year, too. I think they're right now the top team in the Atlantic Division. They got their core guys, right? They got Pasternak, who can put up 50 goals if he wants to. Marchand, who is just – you hate playing against him, but if he's on your team, you love him. Bergeron is one of the best all-around centers in all of hockey. And they're just all around just very good. all around. And but yeah, hockey's looking good so far. It's good competitive games.
There hasn't been too much in golf, not too much going on in tennis. I'm just can't wait for November 20th. It's almost the holiday season. We got FIFA World Cup coming up in Qatar. So I'm actually stoked about that. Last time we had the World Cup, the USA women won it. So last time the World Cup the World Cup happened, we had the USA women win. So, I'm ready to bleed my red, white, and blue.
Hell yeah.
And let's go take that World Cup. So that's November 20th. That starting November 20th. That will be around the holiday season. And this is actually the first time that it will be in the holiday season. So that's actually a pretty interesting stat that I've seen. It's going to be the first time that the World Cup will be during the holiday season. So you might as well sit down, drink some eggnog, and watch eat some food. Thanksgiving time, go ahead and watch the World Cup and watch your country try to win it. So, any other updates? Any other news?
Nope. I say just more updates on my Heisman list. It's hard to choose this number 4 spot because all my number 4 spots was the top running backs we just talked about.
Yep. So we're gonna have number 4 of DC's Heisman on Friday. So I hope y'all gonna be tuned in for who he got laid out for number 4. So it's tough out there. It's tough.
There's a hint for y'all right there. It's between 4 running backs. So I'll say that the number 3, 1 through 3 spots already secured. I already have those finished off. But the number 4 is my hardest ones because it's just nothing but running backs.
Okay. Well,
also, I would like to say one more thing. The college game day is going for this coming week is going to be Jackson State. I believe they're playing Southern. So they're being an FCS school. So
they have that
cool.
to be the most watched game. Well, not even the most watched. They have that to be like the game of the week instead of any other game. So that's what ESPN says. That's going to be the game of the week.
That's cool, man. That's big time.
That's big. I told you, bro. HBCU some love.
Come on, Shedeur Sanders, bro. Like he ain't. He's been looking a little rough on some of his stuff, but I'm telling you, he that guy. He can't count him out, and that's why he's my number 5 for Heisman.
Well, that's all. That's the show we got today. Appreciate y'all tuning in like always, and we'll always go Blackhawks, go Bears. Hopefully the Bears get a win tonight. I might tune in. My Bulls play tomorrow against my Bulls play tonight against the Celtics. That's the first time actually that we're going to have 2 cities playing each other in 2 different sports in a while. So it's going to be the Bulls versus Celtics, and then we got the Bears versus the Patriots. So Chicago versus Boston. So that's probably the first time in a while that's happened. So they call it Bean Town versus the Bean. So thank y'all for tuning in. Shot of Sports right here, and go ahead, DC. Close us out.
Y'all already know. Thank y'all for coming. Shot of Sports with me, Jalen, and Billy on today's episode. Don't forget to hit us up. Don't forget the video will be dropping soon, so be tuning into YouTube for that. We are still trying to get our TikTok together, so just some minor things with that. We just still trying to figure that all out, how we gonna run that. But don't forget to send us your top picks and tune into the Instagram as well, too. It has all our linked social medias. If you have questions for us, hit us up on there as well. Anything you want to talk about, anything just coming up. Got any questions, comments? I don't think y'all having any concerns so far is what I'm seeing. Everything seemed to be good. But, hey, if y'all got any questions, anything you want us to talk about, just hit us up. Let us know. Don't be scared don't be scared. But another one. See y'all later.
All right. Appreciate y'all joining us, and Shot of Sports. We'll see you on Wednesday.
See you on Wednesday.
Yep.
See ya.
back, fully wrapped, poke it out, stick it out, throw it back, fully rich.